Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Happy Friday the 13th, everyone. And what better movie to review on Friday the 13th than the original Friday the 13th from 1980? So, yeah, we're doing the original Friday the 13th today, and I'm glad that I revisited this because, you know, out of the entire franchise, this is one that I don't really revisit. I don't. I'm just gonna be 100% honest. I think I've only seen the original Friday the 13th one other time before, my most recent watch for the video. Yeah, I think I've only seen it one time before. Usually, I gravitate towards. I'm like a younger guy. I think I read that somewhere that like the younger generation tends to gravitate towards like the zombie Jason movies more, like part 6 and on. And for me, that's pretty true. Like Friday the 13th part 6, Jason Lives, is one of my favorite in the franchise. I kind of like some of the ones that have like a good blend of comedy as well as horror, which I know some people absolutely despise the comedic Friday the 13th. They like stuff like Jason X. Some people can't stand that, and some people just prefer like part 1 through 5, or mainly part 1 through 4. There's like two separate camps. There's like the people who like the early ones and the people who like the later zombie Jason ones. So I'm in the camp where I gravitate more towards like the zombie Jason ones. And the reason I don't really watch the original Friday the 13th as much is because I love Jason as a character. He's just you know he's the face of the franchise, and honestly, I didn't like when I was like a little guy. Like I didn't even I had not seen any of these movies, and there's this kid at school that like had seen all of them, and he would tell me like little tidbits. I would just always ask him about these movies because I liked the Halloween movies. I would just watch them on AMC, but like the Friday the 13th never came on TV, and I couldn't rent them from Blockbuster when I was really little because they were rated R and stuff. So I would just ask this one kid who had like older brothers, and he had seen them, and he's like, yeah, Jason's not even the killer in the first one. And I was like, are you serious? Like, no way. Like, this is not real life. Like, you're lying. You're boosting. You just made that up. But then, yeah, like later, like, cause even before I saw these movies, I knew Jason. Like, Jason's just a pop culture icon. Like the imagery is so iconic. Like the hockey mask, and I had a couple of Jason masks before I even saw the movies. But anyways, that's a main, like, one of the main reasons why I don't revisit this, because I'm such a big Jason fan. And yeah, I only saw this one time before, and the last time I saw it, I was not the biggest fan of it. But upon rewatching it, I actually thought it was pretty good. And even though this isn't okay, I did think it was pretty good on this watch. Even though this isn't my favorite, or even in my top 3 favorites in the franchise, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this movie is a classic, and we would not have so many fantastic horror movies that came after it. Like, without like Friday the original Friday the 13th. Whether you like it or not, it is a classic, and it is a very important movie for the genre. Like, it kind of broke the barrier of, before Friday the 13th, in the mid to late 70s, there were a couple, slasher movies, but there wasn't any blood, there wasn't any gore, and this movie changed the game where you have the gore in your face. It's about the kills. It's about the spectacle. So yeah, the original Friday the 13th. I think it's groundbreaking. It definitely it changed the game. Like it definitely changed the slasher genre and helped make it what it is today. And it inspired so many filmmakers, and we wouldn't have so many great films without this movie. So, whether you like it or not, the original Friday the 13th, it's a classic. It's important. You gotta, pay homage. You gotta pay respect. You gotta salute Friday the 13th. So, not trying to be a fanboy, but I mean, come on, like this is why I really don't like. Well, like I'm gonna review all like the big boy franchises eventually, but like that's why I'm so reluctant to watch to review like the Halloween movies or the Friday the 13th or the Nightmare on Elm Street, like the big three. Like I'm reluctant to do like the big movies because it's like it's a lot of pressure. I feel like because they are such classics, and also like what can I say that hasn't been said already. So this video I'm gonna be a basic bro. I'm gonna be saying a lot of stuff that 50 trillion people on the internet have said for years. So that's why I try to watch like niche, obscure stuff and review it because it's like at least 50,000 people haven't talked about it already. But I'm gonna get to all the big movies eventually. I'm gonna hopefully be doing this YouTube thing for like a minute, so I'll get to all that stuff eventually. But I kind of want to like, I put that stuff off, But anyways, yeah, I think this movie is good and it's a classic. In terms of the plot summary, you have, okay, so there's this Camp Crystal Lake. It's reopening. There's a group of young counselors that are going to reopen the camp, and it was shut down because there was back in the 50s, there was a little boy who drowned, and then a little bit after the little boy drowned, there were some murders there. So it was shut down. Now it's present day. The camp is reopening. You got the counselors there, and the counselors are getting killed by some unknown person. So very simple. That's the basic plot summary. So getting into some likes, I think the setting is absolutely phenomenal. I love the woodsy atmosphere. You have like these beautiful bright green trees. It really like you have like the lakefront. Like they're like on like the little swimming platform. Like you got the cabins. Like it feels like camp. It has the small town vibe. It has the camp vibe. The great like wilderness atmosphere. I love the setting. The kills are absolutely phenomenal. Maybe if you showed like a kid today, like if you showed some, maybe like some kid who's like 13 years old or something. I don't know why I said 13. Maybe because it's Friday the 13th. I don't know. It's just 13s on 13s on 13s. If you showed some 13-year-old kid this movie today, maybe they would be like, oh, that's not that bloody, that's not that realistic. But you gotta look at stuff like for the time this was groundbreaking. Like Tom Savini absolutely killed it. Like there's so many, I think the kills do really look good in this movie. Like not even like, maybe like the Kevin Bacon kill looks like a little bit unrealistic, but there's a whole story behind that kill where like Tom Savini was blowing up the tube, and he went hard for that shot. So I think Tom Savini went hard, killed it. Some of my favorite kills are that one girl who gets her throat slit early on. That was a great throat slit. I like when the girl gets the axe in the face. That looked really good. And when Pamela Voorhees gets decapitated and you see, like all like the inside of of her neck and her hands just going like this. I mean, that's 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 gold. It's iconic stuff. So the kills are fantastic. All the practical effects, makeup effects, fantastic. I liked the mystery element in this. You know, in most of the later Friday the 13th, excluding, you know, part two is still kind of a mystery, and part five is kind of a mystery. But in most of the other Friday the 13th, the cat is out of the bag, so to speak. We know who the killer is. It's Jason. There's no mystery. I liked the mystery element in this. The killer was in the shadows. You know, I mean, I know who the killer. I knew who the killer was, but you know, I think at the time, if you're watching this for the first time, you had no idea. I think this is it has like a very strong mystery element, and I always like that. And the reveal, I think, is fantastic. I think Betsy Palmer absolutely killed it in the role of Pamela Voorhees. She's just, I mean, straight psycho. Like she killed it. I don't know what else to say. And then yeah, I already talked about this being, you know, a classic, and kind of, you know, changing the game for slashers. I feel like, you know, for my generation especially, like, this is like a horror classic. Maybe if you're a little bit older, you might regard, like, you know, the Universal monster movies as classics, or stuff like Psycho. You might regard that as a classic. I feel like my generation doesn't really regard, like, you know, like 50s and 60s horror as classic horror. Like, you know, I'm like a younger guy. I'm only 26. Like, I regard, like, the classics, like Halloween 1978. That's classic horror to me. The original Friday the 13th. That's classic horror. Like, you know, to someone like a little bit older, that might not be a classic, but to me, these are like my classics. These are the stuff that these are the movies that I've always regarded as classic horror, because I'm a little bit younger. So I think, you know, the original Friday the 13th from 1980, I think it's a modern horror classic, straight up. One kind of negative that I have about the movie is that even though I do like the movie overall, and I feel like the characters are, you know, they're okay, you know, they're serviceable. I feel like, you know, the final girl in this, Alice, I I think her performance was good. The actress who played her, I think there was nothing wrong with her performance, but I've just, like, never really been into Alice as a final girl. She's just, in my opinion, kind of bland, like, just not super memorable, not super charismatic. Like I said, her performance there's nothing wrong with it, but she's just probably one of my least favorite final girls in the franchise, and just not super memorable in my opinion. So that's, like, one little negative, but I'm not knocking the actress's performance by any means. I think her performance was good, but I don't know. Just Alice in this, not one of my favorite final girls in the franchise. Just a random point. So basically, before I ever saw this movie, I would always see, like, the DVD growing up, and I remember kind of, like, vividly, like, I would go to, like, Borders bookstore, and I'll be looking at books, but they also had a section with DVDs, and I remember, like, looking at the Friday the 13th DVD there, and on the back they had a photo of like kid Jason, and it wasn't him towards the end of the movie when he's all crusty and decrepit and decayed. It was like when he was they showed like the little flashback of him drowning. And when I was a kid, like before I ever saw the movie, for some reason, like when I saw like kid Jason's face, it was the scariest thing for me. I don't know, like if anyone else thought that like kid Jason's face was the scariest thing. Like I was legit petrified of his face. Like when I was a little kid, I would just like think about that. Like it like stuck in my head. Just his like the shape of his head, and he had like the wonky eyes, and just his face like haunted my memory. Like I couldn't get the image out of my head. So I don't know if that's just me or if other people saw that. Like before I ever saw the movie, I just always knew what kid Jason's face looked like, and it absolutely horrified me. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to bring that up because that's what I always think about when I think about this movie. And then the last point that I have here is, you know, this movie, like, okay, Tom Savini, he's a legend. He did the you know, the makeup effects in this movie, and I was at this horror convention over the summer. It's called Motor City Nightmares, and Tom Savini was there, and he was just like wandering around the entire time, and he like walked right past me, and you know I probably could have like been like a star fucker and been like, Tom Savini, I'm such a big fan. I love, you know, Dawn of the Dead. I love Friday the 13th. I love all your work. You know, I'm such a huge fan. Like how was it when you did this kill and that kill? But you know, being like a star fucker is not really my style. I just prefer to be a fanboy on these videos. So I was just like, with all the celebs, like even the ones I met, I would just I wouldn't even really talk that much about their movies. I talked a little bit about their movies, but it was mostly just small talk and like cracking jokes and stuff, like natural, you know, like I wasn't just treating them like that. Like I just, you know, talked to them like you talk to anyone. But like Tom Savini walked like right past me, and I don't even think I said hello, but I hit him with I hit him with like the white person face and like the little head nod. So I don't know if people are familiar with the white person face. I don't, like, that's just what I call it. Like, you ever see someone on the street and you're like, you know, like, I really just want to keep to myself right now, but I might as well, like, at least, like, acknowledge this other person's existence. So you just make this face, you're like, and you hit him with that nod. I'm going to, one more time for the cameras if you didn't get that. You hit him with that face. I hit Tom Savini with the white person face and the head nod, because I was like, I don't really want to be a star fucker, and he's probably just minding his own business. So we both just like locked eyes, made strong eye contact, and didn't blink, and then we just both, I think he hit me with the white person face too. Like I just walked past him, we were just like, oh wait, no, that's not the face. We just both hit each other with that face, that awkward head nod and awkward, like, kind of smile, but not really a smile, just awkward face, and yeah, that was that. So, you know, I don't know. I kind of met Tom Savini, but not really, because we didn't exchange words, and maybe I should have actually, like, talked to him instead of just giving him a head nod, and like, that would have been less weird. Like, if I was, like, kind of a star fucker, it would have been less weird than just, like, barely acknowledging him, but I don't know. I just thought that, you know, I'm talking about Friday the 13th. I thought that was kind of a fun little story to mention, because it was like so awkward. Like, why didn't I just say, hey, how's it going? But like in my head, I was like, you know, what do I say? Like, Tom? Like, is it a first name basis, or, you know, he's a older gentleman. You know, should I say? You know, I don't want to be disrespectful. Should I say Mr. Savini, or like, should I bring up the movies? Like, I'm like, I don't know. So I just, it was like in A Christmas Story, when, you know, he knows he wants the Red Ryder BB gun, but he just you know, he's like pressured, and he tells Santa that he wants a football. You know, I was just like, oh, Tom Savini's walking right past me. I wouldn't even have to pay him for an autograph. I could just chop it up with him for a sec. But I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't know. Do I call him Tom? Do I call him Mr. Savini? I don't really want to be a star fucker. What if he like gets annoyed by me? So I just hit him with this face. And that's what I did. So yeah, I thought that was maybe a funny story. Maybe people didn't think that was a funny story. I don't know. I like just telling, like I said, people have reviewed this movie a trillion times, so I try to bring my own personal stories to these reviews. These aren't even really reviews. It's just me. I just like talking. I just like movies. I just like talking, and I like that. You know, I'm not trying to be sappy here, but I like that some people watch my videos, and it's really cool when I get like comments and stuff, and people just chop it up about movies on here. I love movies. Like I'm being serious right now. Like I'm not being I don't know, like real shit. I just love talking. I love talking about movies, so I just like, you know, throwing the camera on, talking my shit. So freestyling that shit. That's what I do. Hop on here, freestyle a review. Can you tell it's freestyle? Because I don't know how to speak. But anyways, I gotta wrap this up. This is probably a long video. I got class in a little bit. I gotta wrap it up. So basically, in terms of a recommendation, come on, it's the original Friday the 13th. It's a classic. You gotta at least watch this movie once in your lifetime. If you're a horror fan, this is, you know, come on, this is a must watch. You gotta watch it. Just to, you know, see kind of where things started and how far things have come, and you know, it's classic. Come on. I've said that 50 times, but I don't know what else to say. I would definitely recommend Friday the 13th. I don't know if I showed my little Blu-ray, but I don't know if Friday the 13th is on streaming, but I got this little 8-pack Blu-ray. I don't think I showed this at the beginning, but I've had this. I think I got this in like 2018 at Walmart. It's got part 1 through 8. I have the other movies as well on DVD. I don't know why I have like every single movie. Like I own Jason Goes to Hell, which that movie straight up sucks. I don't know why I own that, but yeah, I have like, this is just part 1 through 8. I don't have like the complete collection on in one set, but I do have the other films. But yeah, that's how I watch this, is just on the Blu-ray. You got part 1 right here, Friday the 13th uncut, and you got all the other ones in there. So yeah, I've had this Blu-ray for, you know, pretty much like 6 years now, and I love it. Shouts out Walmart. Walmart goes crazy with the box sets. Ain't nothing better than walking into a Walmart, grabbing a nice box set. You know, that's the type of stuff that I live for. So anyways, I would recommend Friday the 13th. 10 out of 10 would recommend. That's been my recommendation, and that has been my review of Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful Friday the 13th. Get crazy, get wild, you know, stay safe. But anyways, that's been my review. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.